It's CJ Miller. I'm in my apartment, my little balcony, looking out at the day. It's a nice day. It's Shreveport, Louisiana. That's where I'm located, across the Red River from beautiful Bossier City, Louisiana, in Northwest Louisiana. I always want to invite people to come check us out. If you need a vacation, we got great things for you to do. Uh, a lot of little things you wouldn't expect from a small size city, but uh, also, if you're just passing through nearby on your way to another destination, we're a great layover spot. Also, you know what I mean. Uh, you can take your vacation and do a little something extra. Maybe you're on your way to Atlanta or Dallas or Nashville or something like that, and so you wanna have a rest stop if you're driving through or something like that. Uh, yeah, there's so many options of places to do that, but we have a lot of great stuff going on, particularly this little building right there that we're looking at. The top of that is the Municipal Auditorium. A lot of great music historically has happened there. But anyway, this is about the saga of my aloe vera. And yeah, he's looking good today. So the as I noticed, the stalk of the plant's growing a little bit. Uh, Too much for those maracas to really give support to the leaves, and they need a little support when they get heavier. Otherwise, they will tend to break off. Because you see how they bend each day as I turn them in different directions to face the sun, and they grow in different directions, and they'll get heavy, and eventually they'll bend and they'll break, but but they'll still grow. But it's yeah. Um, at least I hope so. They haven't shriveled up and fallen off yet, and it seems to me they've grown a little bit. But yeah, what we want to do in this kind of instance is we want to keep the branches as healthy and as long as we possibly can. Uh, Water it every couple of weeks and feed it about once a month. That's really all it needs. I give it a little bit of indirect sunlight on a daily basis, and yeah, yeah. Uh, there are times when the plant might go dormant, I've read, and that's what I thought was happening at one point, and then it got me. It surprised me. It pulled some a trick, a pleasant trickery. This little sucker right there. I didn't have a couple of weeks ago. Uh, I thought, oh my God, has my plant stagnated? Is my aloe vera saga over really before it had begun? And then lo and behold, one day I noticed some basic subtle line next to a leaf, and that little bitty line became like a bump, and then that bump uh, became sort of a raised nodule, and it grew into the leaf that it has become today. It's a little bitty junior little leaf. So that's great. This is I want the roots to be really, really well established before I transplant this. This is a shallower plant. This is a shallower container than what it was in before when the guy transplanted this plant. It was growing right next to another plant, and it was shallower but a lot wider. But yeah, he was able to do that. And so what I want to do is I really want these roots to be um, right where they need to be. You know what I mean? I need them to be really, really strong. I need them to be very intricate. And I keep thinking, hey, this is the month I'm going to transplant. This is the month I'm going to transplant. This is the month. I think as long as I'm still getting growth while it's in here, that's where I'm going to leave it. So we may be talking about another 3 months. I was going to transplant it at the end of this month, going into next month, and I may do it. I may wait. I may wait until the end of winter, which for us is a short season, you know, because we haven't even we are just now entering the fall, you know, uh, and like it, you know, like it's like the end of summer going into fall. I don't know when that officially happens, but it's soon. But we have very slow transitions uh, to a cold weather, and uh, for the most part, we do okay. A couple every few years, we'll get some light snowfall, and then of course, you know, we had that one year where like uh, most of the eastern country was hit by two blizzards back to back. You know, from the southeast. That was the year that I ordered my Pazuzu pendant, who is a uh, I think is a Syrian demigod. Uh, who is chiefly the gods of the southeastern winds and also a harbinger of danger and trouble, uh, as he's represented in Northeast America as the Mothman. So after that, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'm not going to order any more Pazuzu bullshit, because the day that pendant arrived is the day that we got hit with that second. We had some light snow, but we had that really big one that really it took what was on the ground, froze it, iced it over, and then gave us this uh, fluffy, powdery snow all over the place, and it came down for about a week, and it was you know, or 2 or 3 days anyway, but it stayed a few weeks. I mean, it knocked out everybody. No, you know, people were going outside and scraping up snow uh, for their water needs, you know, uh, uh, which was, well, for one thing, it helped scrape up the snow off the ground. But yeah, no, it was cool. That was a few years ago. Every once in a while, we'll get something like that, but most of the time, outside of a tornado, uh, which are that's not. I don't mean to minimize. Tornadoes are terrible because when they happen here, and they happen en masse, you know. But I think most people get tornadoes, and we're, you know, that's, you know, that's not an extreme thing. But I guess I'm rambling about the weather. I don't know why. I was talking about this plant, my Aloe Vera Saga. I was gonna let's see. I was gonna watch The Nun, that movie The Nun, because I saw it in the theater, and I'm going today to watch The Nun 2, Part 2, and I was gonna kind of do a catch up and everything like that. But then it was like, I remember what I do remember is that damn nun jumps out of everywhere. If it's a corner or a shadow or you know, if there's even an opportunity for a jump scare, she's there. She's jumping all up on you. You know, it was scary. So that will probably be like the big thing. Actually, the story was interesting. I remember that. You know, as far as the backstory goes, and of course, it's part of the Conjuring universe. I used to read those Ed and Lorraine Warren books when I was a teenager. You know, I like, you know, because that's a whole, like, you know, uh, that's the whole demographic. You know, that the Jay Anson wrote the Amityville Horror. You know, anything, any kind of a haunted house kind of thing, supernatural, haunted, paranormal investigation. You know, that's dramatized in a book. You know, that there was a niche for that in the 80s, 70s, and 80s and everything. I don't know when. Uh, you know, I think it was kind of a holdover of the New Age movement that started in the 60s, going into the 70s and everything like that. And then that kind of branched off. And then people just, hey, I'm feeling this, come to paranormal investigations. And Ed and Lorraine Warren did that. And then I even think, yeah, I think that movie about the ex-cop Deliver Us from Evil, that was he was mentored or worked with Ed and Lorraine Warren. Of course, his backstory is basically that he was a cop. Uh, and then he wasn't a cop because he ran into a, a criminal and he beat the criminal to death. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's a man who killed somebody, even if the guy he killed uh, was a horrible person. You can't be a police officer and intentionally lose control like that. You can't do it. You have to take them to court to justice. So I don't know if that was part of the story that they were telling, the dramatizing, or if that actually really happened, if that was part of the guy's history. But if it is, yeah, whatever. You go back to do some paranormal investigating because you can't be a detective for the police department anymore. I don't know. Anyway, and then of course that movie. What kind of vexed me about that movie is it kind of misrepresented a 12-step fellowship that I'm aware of. It misrepresented really pretty much all 12-step fellowships as far as like substance abuse goes, because one of the characters was an ex-priest, and he was like, I'm in NA, Narcotics Anonymous, so I don't ruin my life. And then he's in the bar and he's having like a drink, like a I don't know, whatever it is, scotch or something, like whatever it is he's drinking or whatever. And the guy was like, "You having a drink?" He's like, "Yeah, but I'm not an alcoholic. That's for AA. I'm and it's like, yeah, and that was a big crock of shit right there because, yeah, I mean, just not to advocate or anything like that, but if you go to Alcoholics Anonymous, you don't drink alcohol, but they also uh, do not consider other types of illicit drugs the same as being sober. But and then if you go to Narcotics Anonymous, uh, you go in and you say, "Hey, I'm here for drugs, and alcohol is for AA, but alcohol." That's not the case. I don't want to get you with the bait and switch, but yeah, you read the literature, yeah, and yeah, it's mentioned, alcohol, marijuana, and prescription drugs are the only three instances that I actually remember that it being mentioned in the literature specifically, and that is to include them, to make a point to say these are areas of addiction. We do consider if you're using these things without medical prescription, and if you're using them other than how they are described, and if you are malingering and manipulating your medical team in order to get these prescriptions or whatever it is, that's not the same thing as being clean, and so it's all about honesty and stuff like that. But this isn't about my recovery. It's about my aloe vera. Uh, what else did I do? I went to the gym. Had a really great workout. Like I said, I like to go these days. I'm really enjoying going into the steam room, and there's a dumbbell in there that I like to work out with while I'm in the steam room. So I kind of like get a little bit of both, and then have a yeah, it's great. It's great. So it's the best gym membership, best best gym for me, for my membership, because it's so close. Because otherwise, I get lazy and I don't want to go across town. And sometimes it's not about lazy. Sometimes it's just not okay. I mean, the weather's too hot. It's very, very pleasant right now. There's a breeze, light breeze, and the temperature is a little bit cooler. I'm really gonna enjoy it. There's a little bit of overcast. I don't think it's gonna rain though, but I'm not gonna really take an umbrella with me to see the movie. It's just if I leave the movie and if it's raining, I'll use it as an excuse to go find an umbrella somewhere. I need to go by our local Burlington. They have pretty good umbrellas there. I'm gonna make sure this could use a little bit more support, so let's just prop it up there. There we go. You want to be careful when adding support to your leaves that you're not overdoing it, because if you know how it is, you can break a leaf, bro. you know, uh, I really love the fun that I'm having, the adventure that I'm getting with this plant. And yeah, uh, so I've had just a little bit of a light breakfast today. Uh, Chicken wings, if you know me, chicken wings. And then I'll be somewhat keto friendly, meaning that if I have some corn chips or something like that with a dip or something like that, I'll be careful not to overdo it. I'm doing really well with my diet and everything like that. There's no use in wrecking it on very expensive theater food. So anyway, yeah. Uh, hey, I love you guys. Thanks for listening to me ramble. This plant is freaking awesome. Uh, but I'm think I'm going to go ahead and take it inside in case it does start to rain or get to pick up a little wind. I don't think it's going to though, but definitely. Uh, Let me just go ahead and say that I really do love you. And peace, love, and light. Goodbye.